Welcome to day 129 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of February 2005, which is also Truth Month, which was Hitch.
We have to say that disclaimer because we forgot once, so yeah.
Only once, it might have
Yeah.
been twice, I don't remember.
No, we only forgot once because
okay.
that
And then we
one-
had to, splice it together. So.
Right.
it's because of the movie we watched that month, but we'll only reveal that later.
Well, I am
Okay.
I feel like everything in this movie is all over the place.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely in the beginning of the movie, I think we can all agree that in the beginning of the movie, we really thought that this was going to be, just complete trash.
Yeah, no, like the
It was-
first quarter, you're just like, oh no, this
Yeah,
is gonna.
please.
It's so okay, literally. Tara read out the very beginning synopsis of this movie, and I literally predicted exactly what was gonna happen. So this plot is the generic. If you again a paragraph summary of the plot is super generic. You know what's gonna happen. It's of course okay. So it's this dude who's this all pickup artist kind of guy, and he ends up getting in a relationship with somebody. But then he he doesn't really know how to do it, even though he's supposed to be the master. But then they have a falling out, but then they get back together because they realize that they actually love each other for who they are, and it's that is so obvious, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But somehow, the intricacies of the plot are, fucking confusingly weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole actual,
Quite.
the whole actual conflict and the actual, falling out with the relationship, doesn't make any damn sense. It comes out of nowhere. And to be fair, a lot of movies like this have that problem because they feel like they have to force some sort of bullshit conflict in there or else, I don't know, something. So that was stupid. And yeah, no, the very beginning, you're just this feels misogynistic, honestly, how it's going
Yeah,
by.
that's kind of how they sold it in the very beginning,
I
and I
had-
don't know why.
Well, because I think the whole idea is that that was his thought process, but then by the end of the movie, it's not, because he realized his mistake. But at the same time, how it's portrayed, it doesn't. It's half and half, where the movie kinda is saying that it's wrong, but it's kinda not. It's this really weird line where
Middle
it's
ground thing.
yeah, and it's this shouldn't be confusing. You should be able to say no. This is wrong. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be this weird halfway point where it's kind of quote unquote endearing. It's what? And then, so yeah, the first quarter of the movie is definitely bad, and I would say the last quarter of the movie I don't like because again, it's that bullcrap falling apart. Their whole argument doesn't make sense. And they're getting back together. Again, the dude's crazy. He jumps in front of her car, and somehow that turns into her liking her again. It's
I don't
what?
know why he did that.
That's
he could have
so
died.
Dumb. It's that's all dumb. Oh, it's another fucking romance movie that has a goddamn dance sequence in it. Why? Why? Why does this
It only
keep
came at the
happening?
very. It came
Yeah,
at
at
the
least
very
it came in
end.
the end this time.
But still, it's why? What the fuck? Why? Who is the one asshole who likes this? Who keeps putting it in all these damn movies? Ugh. So,
I think I know what part. Now that just leaves us with the middle part,
yes.
which was actually pretty enjoyable, I think.
The
Actually.
middle was okay. I guess I can kind of name the parts that I did actually kind of like. I liked Albert.
Yeah.
After,
I
liked
yeah.
it
Well,
too.
after the very beginning with him, because the very beginning with him
Yeah.
is really lame.
Yeah,
But
but when you actually see how he interacts with the lady that he actually legitimately likes,
Yeah, at the game and stuff.
it's really
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, no, they work, and honestly, Will Smith and that woman, when they're actually kind of together, they work all right too.
Yeah.
Will Smith is a good character.
It's just
in the
yeah.
very once he turns on that one really chauvinistic pig and decks him on the table, I was like, you're good.
Yeah.
So
you're good.
That's the problem that I have with this. Is like the beginning, the setup is super awkward and like really weird, but then like the actual relationships that are there, both of them are like actually pretty decent. But then they like manufacture this bullshit falling apart that doesn't work, and so it's like, what? Huh?
Just give us a movie of the middle, and that's it.
Yeah.
Done.
It's so weird.
If you need a conflict, maybe you can have a conflict on like what pair of shoes to wear for the wedding, or what the bridal color is going to be. I don't mind that being the conflict. I mean, Sleeping Beauty couldn't get that down. It's switching between blue and pink.
Sleeping Beauty can't do it. No, like every other movie has fair game to grab at it.
And then and there are a few moments where like there's kind of a decent message. Like there's one where it's like, what was it? Kind of, who said it? Or exactly how was it said? It was kind of the whole thing about like there isn't a rule, there isn't like a checklist. It's just kind of, just do shit and see what happens, kind of, right? Like,
was that Albert or was that like?
I think it was kind of Albert. I don't know. I think it was a couple people and they said it in different ways. But like that's actually not, okay.
Yeah.
So and it's also, but that's kind of the thing is that it's like it's different from the beginning, obviously, and part of the movie is you're showing, see, he's changed his mindset, but again, how it's shown, it's like it doesn't get that across that well. So it's just so we write like little mini like synopses of our opinions like when we rank these films, and basically mine was this is the definition of a mess. Because there are some good things, but it's just messed in with a bunch of bad things, and it's like, I don't know. It's really weird.
The whole thing with like the falling out, I really resent because the way they did it was so dumb.
Yeah.
And they like the lady, she couldn't take 2 minutes to ask him if he actually like set her friend up with this guy.
Yeah.
She went to his apartment. She literally accused him of like being an asshole, and then he goes to try to like fix it because he's like, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
Which actually makes sense. He wouldn't understand. Yeah. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I was just like, what are you doing to Will Smith? He's trying to tell you what he thinks you're saying to him. He's not able to read your mind. It's like the whole mentality of like that girlfriend who thinks that you should read her mind, and then she does all of these things that don't make any sense, and she expects you to make the move that's correct. That kind of mentality for like either sex, like women or men, it's really messed up, and you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and again, like the beginning of the movie kind of has that like tone to it where it's like, again, it's that whole it's something that I've actually heard where like, okay, I'm sure you've heard about like the whole video games cause like violence or whatever, right? Which is like not true. But someone brought up an interesting point. Because this was in the relation to like internet culture and like, kind of video game internet culture and how that relates to like, like the whole incel shit happening, right? So the thing was like, it's not that the violence isn't the problem. What's happening is that that mentality, it turns things into like a checklist. Mm-hmm. So everything in life becomes like a quest that you just have to do A, B, and C, and then you get your reward. And so when that doesn't work, again, when the woman doesn't want to sleep with you just because you said X, Y, and Z, it's like you can't handle that mentally, right? And it's like, it almost feels like, again, the beginning of this movie is like reinforcing that. And again, it's like the end, it seems to like that it doesn't, but I don't think the tone was right in the beginning, so that it doesn't feel like a full, like it understands that, like, especially in the beginning, that like that's such an issue. And again, this was made in 2005, so maybe it wasn't really as much of an issue then, but like, you know what I mean? It feels off. So, again, like as Tara said, like that beginning, we're just like, so yeah, it's just I don't know. Again, it's frustrating to me because there's elements that I do like, and like the actual relationships are actually pretty good. It's just they.
Which is saying something for a romantic comedy
Yeah,
too.
Yeah,
they just
Because
fuck
the
it
last
up.
one we watched was what?
Oh my god, I
I
don't
don't
even.
even remember. The first one I can remember is Sweet Home Alabama, which
Oh, I was thinking. Well,
that relationship was like.
well, no, even worse. Just Married.
Oh my god, yeah,
That was atrocious. And yeah, this was like legitimately good. It's like, but again, they had to just fuck it up with these stupid bullshit like misunderstanding-esque plot devices, and it's just.
You don't need that in a movie to
No.
like even
Yeah.
make it compelling. You can just have two cute people being together and it's
No,
fine. And
'cause the thing is that what media does is there's two lines that it goes for romance. Usually, these are like the stereotypical ones. One is that either one person or both people do have a crush on each other, but they either wait until the very last second to announce their love, or it's just kind of implied that they got together but never concretely said that they got together. It's one route. The other route is that they actually made it to the relationship threshold, but then once they make it to the relationship threshold, then the author or media or whatever, for whatever reason, thinks that the relationship itself is not going to give any drama whatsoever. Which...
that's so stupid because okay, y'all who like those
wait, let me
tropes.
finish my thing.
Okay.
So then...
I wanna publicly call out the audience after this.
Yes,
Please do.
you can after I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
with my
continue.
line.
Continue.
So, where was I? Right. So they get to the relationship, and then they're like, "Huh? I don't think the relationship itself is going to cause that much drama and stuff, because it's relationships don't have any drama. It's all butterflies and rainbows and all that stuff. So." Gotta throw in some misunderstanding in there to make them break up again, and then go through that whole phase of, do I like them, do I not like them, maybe let's try other people, no, I don't like them, okay, let's come back together at the very end of the movie. Which you never quite, in the end, see them in an actual functioning relationship or see them evolve, other than, like, the cute, like, rainbows, butterflies phase. And it's just, like, when you see just that, or like the crush thing, then it's just like, okay, but then how do they function afterwards, kind of?
Yeah, and it gets old real fast.
Yeah, now you can go on with your rant. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all who like these tropes, y'all are gonna sit down, you're gonna listen to us. So the whole like thing of, do I like them, do I not like them? Fine, you can have that. But there are people who want to actually see a relationship that is functioning because we think there's more stakes in wanting people to stay together and have them work through their issues together than to have all of that crap that doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
Because-
yeah. Also, having like the love triangle thing, yeah, don't do that either.
Yeah, because I personally feel like the crux of a relationship is how you get through all the shit that happens. Yes, you will have misunderstandings, but they don't have to break up your relationship. You can get mad at each other for a couple of hours. But the part that makes it worth investing into is seeing them work through it. It's not the whole, they break up, we get to see them sad for a little bit. Because do you people, like... Okay, I'm gonna assume that people in the audience have had relationships. You guys get sad too, but do you leave your partner half the time? I assume not, because if you think like that, you probably don't have any friends either. Since that shit happens in all kinds of relationships. They happen to your friends, to your siblings, with your parents. If you can't get through that kind of thing with your romantic partner, then you're not mature enough to have a relationship. That's the thing.
I love just how you were like, you like this, you have no friends.
I mean, it's kind of, the way I kind of look at it is that maybe I'm the type of person who would like to read about something that could happen in reality. I don't want to go through like a horrible breakup every time I have one fight with my SO. I don't know about other people.
But I can vouch for that.
But the thing,
I can also vouch for that too.
like the thing with media is like, yeah, sure, it's supposed to be a fantasy, but sometimes it's nice to have it be rooted in reality and have like something that you care about, not just something that you can be like, oh, this is such juicy drama. You know, it gets old after a while.
Well, because that's the whole.
It's not even like fantasy. That's just like media in general.
Yeah, exactly. Like honestly, the whole point of like fictional media, like fantasy, even like sci-fi, is like, sure, you could have like interesting worlds or like kind of plot devices or technology or something that's like different and interesting, but the whole point of it and why it works as a form of media is that you have character interaction in that you understand and that you're familiar with and that you can see how that works with the new elements that you haven't seen before. So
all this other stuff is so trite and annoying and contrived, and it doesn't happen. At least it shouldn't happen.
I guess a good example is, if I can... So, one thing I do not know for cats or any other animal other than dogs, but we're going to go with this. So, one thing with dogs is that if they do something wrong, you can't be... You can, like, scold them and everything at the time, but like 5 minutes later, they're gonna forget about it, so they won't understand if you're still angry at them 5 minutes later.
It'd be like if you're annoyed at your dog and then you just like disown them. It's like, what?
Yeah,
like, exactly.
The dog is gonna be heartbroken because it doesn't understand, because it's like, okay, you scolded them, but you can't be angry at them the whole time because they're not gonna understand why you're angry with them and everything, or what they did wrong and stuff in that moment and stuff, and maybe they're actually doing something good at that moment. So it's kind of like, if you apply that to like human interaction and stuff, it's kind of like, okay, you can get angry for like that split second or something, but do you really need to drag it out for the entire book?
Or the whole movie, or the whole freaking trilogy? Really? Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to propose apparently a bold statement, because apparently people who make movies just don't ever do this.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a movie where there's a couple and all of the conflicts in the movie don't have to do with their relationship?
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Like, you know what would be a great movie?
What?
And maybe this thing already exists. If it does, please let me know, because I want to see this. Like, some sort of, like, superhero... Like, think like a Marvel movie, okay? Like a good Marvel story where the main characters is a couple.
That'd be nice.
It's like, it's just a couple, and they're a good match to each other, they like each other, and they just do other shit, and they conflict with other people, but they're together, and they work through that. Wouldn't that be, like so much more enjoyable than, like... I think you like this other guy. Like, come on! That'd be so much more interesting. Because the actual, like, interactions between people who like each other can be really endearing, and it makes you want to work with these characters. So then when you see them face an actual serious problem, it puts more stakes into it.
Yeah,
it builds
exactly.
character, but it doesn't... If you arbitrarily say, like, oh, these two people who totally love each other and they're amazing for each other, but, like, one misunderstanding makes them want to break up, well, no, then they don't really love each other, because that's not how that fucking works. It's just...
No.
It's so... I would really like to see a movie like that, where, you know, they're there, and their relationship is important in terms of their characters with each other, but they don't have these bullshit manufactured plot device fights. Instead, they have, like, actual... issues that they have to deal with something else by working with each other. I want something like that, and I don't really see that. Like, I can only think...
There's, like, Incredibles.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
actually,
work
kind
through
of.
it.
That one, yeah, that actually does kind of work that way a little bit. I mean, there is conflict within the family in that case, but the plot's kind of a different structure, but it still works there.
Yeah.
But
I think it works in that regard.
yeah,
definitely.
honestly, the only thing I can kind of think of where this works, and it's still like kind of a different thing, and there's some elements that I'm kind of skirting around, but actually, Xenoblade 2 kind of does that. So it's it's a little bit different, but yeah, I just feel like that because I feel like that's way more interesting, and it's just
Thing that I can think of.
I don't know. It's just like what.
I don't think if there's any anime that are like that, but I don't think.
There's not
Anime
any that I can
is the
think
worst
of.
offender for crush, and then at the very end they get together.
Yeah.
Or it's implied at the end.
Yeah, that's what happens in anime and manga, and
Yeah. So
it's bad too. But at
Yeah.
least we don't have to sit through all the breakups.
yeah,
you know?
Xenoblade 2 kind of does that a little bit. It's kind of a mix, but it's one of those things where like it's not official, wink wink, but it like absolutely is. But like they don't really try to hide it, so it's like whatever. Actually, now that I think about it, Star Wars Rebels kind of does this actually, because Kanan and Hera are like they're definitely together, and I mean, again, it's one of those things where like they don't absolutely confirm it until like way late in the show, but like again, part of it works on like, you know, they work with each other to do other things, and again, they're like relationship drama, well, basically doesn't exist, and it's like it's not like important, it's not forefront in the plot, right? So there's a few things where it works, but again, it's so rare, it's just bizarre.
It's sad. It's really sad.
yeah.
Like, it almost seems like people don't care about functioning relationships in fiction, and it's really sad.
In a way, it's kind of like how like you have like all the movie star drama and stuff. It's like why the Kardashians are a thing too. If you think of it that way.
It's
Like
manufactured
sensationalism
bullshit.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, we just called out a bunch of shallow people, so yeah, have some
they're
time to
gonna-
think about that.
and the thing is, like, this movie wasn't even like that bad of an offender of it either, so it's kind of weird
Oh,
this all
no.
came out now, but it's just like, I don't know, I guess we're just fed up with so many of these damn stories.
I think the thing is that it was like the conflict was so contrived and it was totally unnecessary, and I think we're just
Because
angry
we
at
actually
the fact that
saw the
it,
good elements
it-
in it.
Yeah.
it ruined what was good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
With that wonderful transition, Truth Month!
Yay!
It lasted this long.
True will never cheat on you in a relationship.
Trude is loyal.
So, anyway, it's my turn to do a story, which I guess it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with romance, but it kind of you'll find out. So, I was told this story about there's this girl and she got 2 goldfish. And the thing with the goldfish is at the time she was obsessed with Barbies and stuff, so she decided to name her goldfish Barbie and Ken. Both of them died 3 days later.
Oh.
She bought 2 more goldfish, and again, she named them Barbie and Ken.
Mhm.
Same thing happens.
Oh.
This
Oh
kind
my.
of continues for about like 3 or 4 times until finally she names them 2 different names. I forgot what the names were. But at the time I was told the story, both those fish were still alive and it had been alive for about 6 or 7 years. So the moral of the story
Don't name any couple Barbie and Ken or they're destined for death in 3 days?
yeah, it's kind of like the ring in that sense, huh?
It's like a harbinger.
Well, no, because if you don't emulate people who are completely fake, then it's fine.
Oh, throwing some
There you
shade
go,
at the end of the video.
There you go.
Actually, wait.
Apparently, I had to look this up because I was like, wait, are Barbie and Ken actually married or such? Because I didn't know if it would actually apply to this movie and stuff. Apparently, they had been married, then they broke off their wedding after 47 or somewhere over 30 years or something, and then they apparently got back together.
What?
So.
Oh no.
Apparently dolls also have these weird...
Why
Oh
is
my
the
God.
Barbie canon so confusing?
Barbie canon. Did not need to know
Which
the Barbie
timeline are we in?
Oh
But-
my god.
Actually, this reminds me of something I said early in the movie when, like, it was still kind of, like, weirdly misogynistic. I was like, no, because you saw, like, there was someone reading Romeo and Juliet in the movie.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
and so it's like, wait, why would you want to have a relationship like Romeo and Juliet? And I was like, wait, no, I have the best idea for a movie. So they should have it where there's like a pickup artist or someone who's like trying to get people, you know, in relationships, but really he actually has an ulterior motive and he's like actually a serial killer where he gets them to have like a Romeo and Juliet relationship where they kill each other.
Can someone make that movie just as a non-serious?
Yeah,
like,
just as like, you know, oh no, I totally think you two are absolutely in love, and this manufacturer is like, no, then he can actually manufacture bullshit like problems that they get
Yeah.
artificially mad over, and then
That
they
is
cause them to kill
acceptable.
him.
Can someone do that?
It'd be so like just completely absurd, and if they actually
And-
wrote the character. Oh.
Okay.
It's more original than any of these fucking derivative as shit movies.
I'm not saying that it's less original or anything. I'm just looking at the timestamp that says this is going on for 27 minutes.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Ugh.